What's up guys, David here with Revel Machines, and today I'll be introducing you to Project Black Canyon. Our client has been nice enough to let us borrow this vehicle for a couple meets and a nice road trip coming up next week, so stick around for that. That should be exciting. In the meantime, we're going to take this to race service. They're having a very cool overland meet there, and once we come back to the vehicle, we'll kind of give you a walk around of what it takes to make a basic D2 into a Revel Machines. All right, so here we have a Disco 1 that we found at this show. Extremely clean condition, the color match wheels. It was a pleasure of meeting the owner, Mike, which also name dropped one of our boys, Ed, at IE Rovers. So very cool, it's a small community of people. We love to see it. The Mercedes interior finish on this was actually very nice. Rich leather with just the right amount of texture. It was obviously a resto mod, but tastefully done. I really enjoyed this one as well. On this Bronco, the leather texture was too large for a disco, but right at home on a classic American ride. There's an orange Bronco here, a cool example of a white top design, similar to my D1 builds. We're looking to do something similar to this on some of the builds we put together. Cool interior as well. This G-Wagon was just a very simple, clean, utilitarian build with some great accessories. Some cool tips here for the future for our builds as well. Last but not least, we have this collaboration between Undefeated and Galpin Motors. Love the exterior concept, the two-tone color between the top and the rest of the body. Beautiful, gorgeous interior with materials and textiles. They have a great blend and balance between all of them. Love those headrests with the pressed-in logos. And the wheels, these Steely style wheels by Forgiato. We thought they were excellent and they look fantastic on this ride with the concept. All right guys, so what did you think of that show? Did you see anything you liked? Any cars that stood out to you? We sure did. Mention down below what you thought was cool and what stood out to you. Anyways, we're back here with Project Black Canyon. We're gonna start from the back, just to give you a little rundown of what it takes to make this car into a Revel Machines. As you can see back here, we have the full-size tire. These guys come in a 265/75/16 size diameter with a 16-inch steel wheel. So just in case you ever need that extra tire out there in the middle of the road or you're in the desert, you got this guy to take care of you. Now, one of my favorite parts of these discoveries is this barn door. Some call it a swing door, but I just love that design. To me, it's just classic, it's vintage. It represents something of nostalgia in a way. And we love it. Going through these discos, part of what we do is we go and refurbish virtually everything and anything that we can. We look for broken pieces, tears and rips in the vinyl in the interior, and the headliner obviously is one of the biggest things that usually gets damaged over time, and that gets replaced. We also address the leaky sunroofs. We replace the liners, the rubber gaskets on those as well. So we do a lot of the interior work that a lot of people don't see, or it's not as apparent as it should be or would like it to be, but we address all of those things to make it comfortable and to make it presentable for our clients. Back here at the moment, we have not found a steel bumper that we feel matches the aesthetic of the vehicle quite yet. So maybe one day we will look into manufacture something. In the meantime, what we personally love to do is we love to either refurbish these guys or replace it if it's completely cracked or broken with a brand new unit that represents the car well. Obviously, we love that branding back here for Land Rover, which to me it's iconic, it's classic. So we stick with that for now, but eventually we'll look for other options if there's something that's worthwhile. Moving to this side over here, once again, you got that nice knobby tire for your off-roading needs. These tires specifically are also very comfortable on the road, which was a big part of our builds. We want to make it comfortable enough to drive around town, on the highway, and also give you something that's going to be very capable off-road, and this tire just fits the bill. We also install these wide wheel arches that match the aesthetics of the vehicle just well. You really can't look inside here, but we have the old man emo suspension system going on with shocks and springs. It's a 2-inch, so it's a mild lift, but it's just enough to go around, and do some off-roading while also being comfortable around town. Once you get to the rock sliders, we have these guys right here. Heavy duty, they look the part, they perform well. And like I said, these cars were intended more for cruising, going around town, doing some light off-roading, overlanding. Nothing too heavy, and I feel these guys are perfect from the front end of the vehicle. There's a lot of suspension work that we take care of. There's the heavy duty links in the front. There's bushings and bearings that we replace on these guys.
brakes and rotors also replaced with EBC, products, which we personally love, and they perform well, they look good. You'll see this beautiful steel bumper that we're currently sourcing overseas. It's been a fan favorite. It's been a huge hit on Instagram and on social media. Obviously, it looks great on these vehicles. So what we're looking to do sooner than later is actually have these guys produced in-house so we can start offering it for sale for you guys. So stick around for that, because that's happening very closely in the near future, and we're excited. Let me know if that's something you guys are interested in, because we have been hearing a lot of rumblings regarding this particular design. Let us know down below. And once again, going to the front of the car itself here, we got the headlight and we got the corner blinkers. So these guys are usually either cracked or there's condensation building up over time because the seals break. So we go ahead and replace these guys with brand new units. All right, cool. Now let's go back inside the interior of this car so I can show you what else we kind of address overall and beautify. So once you're inside the cabin, you'll notice that most of these older Discos have bits and pieces that are broken, torn, lost. So what we personally take a lot of pride in doing is going through virtually every aspect of the cabin to make sure that we either refurbish it or replace it with new parts, or obviously redo it to brand new specs. So items like these guys, little buttons they may be missing, these guys sometimes are broken, little knobs that kind of go bad over time. A lot of these rubber pieces usually tend to be lost or missing completely, so we source new or used pieces that fit the car itself, along with boots like these guys here, new leathers. These little guys, if they're missing, we look to source them out, replace them as well. So we're very thorough with what we do inside to make sure that this car looks and feels like something that's presentable. We have this headliner with various ways of finishing it, whether it's suede or a fabric or a typical textile. Up here also is one of the biggest things that breaks. These guys tend to break over time and wear out. So those are pieces that get refurbished and replaced as well, just to make sure that everything is working as it should and looks as good as possible for a 20-plus-year-old vehicle. And luckily, these chairs tend to look and age extremely well. This particular model is the Westminster edition, so it's got that black leather that to this day looks amazing. So here we got our 4.0 V8. As you can see, this motor has been taken care of extremely well. For some of you that follow us and for those that don't follow us, what we typically do first and foremost to any of these Discos is to go into the motor itself, go down all the way to the block, inspect it, make sure that everything's running fine. There's no loose or slipped liners in there. There's no burning or any scorching or any type of uneven wear. We go ahead and address that first, double check that. Once we're happy with the block and make sure that it is satisfactory, we start building up from there, the heads, gaskets, seals, sensors, coil packs, whatever you would want replaced on this vehicle, we go ahead and fix that to make sure that we give you a vehicle that's dependable, that has longevity, and that obviously will perform on and off-road. So for us, obviously it's a work of art. We take a lot of pride in doing it. It's not the fastest or the biggest motor out there, but it is a very reliable motor once you have taken care of all those issues. All right, along with some of the items that we do replace, alternators get replaced, batteries, we usually opt for a brand new battery. We love our interstate batteries. Those guys have always been dependable and have longevity, so we love those batteries as well. Rubber hoses, anything gasket related, anything that has been worn out, anything that's old. With these vehicles, we've noticed obviously that the older they are, obviously people have not maintained them or taken care of them and have not properly addressed some of the issues. So there's always problems with these vehicles, not because they're bad cars themselves, but because maintenance has not been the best for these vehicles over time. That's obviously one of our personal passions, to taking these vehicles, bringing them back to life, giving them a new life in a way. All right, guys, so that was a brief rundown of what we do to a Disco to convert it into a Revel machines. Like I said, this is our D2 Project Black Canyon. We will be taking this guy on that road trip in a few days from now, so please follow along, stay tuned as we create some really cool content and have a good time with this vehicle off-road in the Pinnacles. Stay tuned. So let's check out this V8 and see what we got going on. Woohoo! Should I do it again or what? Dude, it's fucking hot.